Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm just glad you're here. First off, real quickly, I want to say thank you to the channel members. Thank you guys, gals. I want to thank everybody that comes in to check out the knife and EDC content. I really appreciate it. If you guys like it, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. If you haven't already, it really does help me out. So today's one of those videos that's kind of, I guess, showcasing my likes, because everybody's idea of sexy or cool or different is going to be different, right? We're all different. So what I've done is I've come up with 10 knives out of my collection that I think kind of exemplify sexy, and that's going to come in with lines, grinds, design, and just basic wowness, right? Or oohness. And this knife is not one of those 10, but it's definitely up there. This is the Microtech Stitch Ramlock, and it's a Borka Microtech collaboration, and ergonomically it's almost perfect, and stylistically I think it's very, very sexy. Aggressive kind of sexy, but still sexy. And that's the Microsoft Ramlock Stitch, kind of number 11, but we'll look at some of these based on what I looked at in my collection and thought of as sexy. Now number 10 is kind of an understated sexy. So to a lot of people, this is going to seem like a very plain knife. This is the Wehr Knives Alip P. The Wehr is a custom manufacturer or custom maker, and the Allie is one of his most popular designs. So the Alip P is a collaboration with Wehr Knives and Riot to make this production Allie, the Alip P, hence the P. And to me, this knife is so sexy. That's why I picked it up. It wasn't a mainstream knife. It wasn't a knife that I saw a lot of hype on, but it was a knife that when I saw an Instagram post, I was instantly attracted to the blade. I love the swedge, the deep hollow grind. I love the reverse Tanto tip. I picked this color specifically because it was very neutral. They had this knife in a lot of different configurations, but this one, being the raw titanium with the black accents, to me was kind of understated, elegant, i.e. sexy. It's a smaller knife. It's going to probably be the most normal looking knife on this little list of mine, but this is the Alip P by Wehr, OEM'd by Riot, coming in at number 10. Number 9 is kind of an OG favorite, been around for quite a while. Not a lot of surprises there, but it is still nonetheless sexy. This is the Strider S&G. And I know a lot of you are going to think this is not a sexy knife. I know that because a year ago, I didn't give two shits about this knife. I'd seen it around. I didn't understand what all the hoo-ha was about. I'd heard about some of the different drama stuff, you know, the whole Strider lore, right? But I'd never really experienced one, and I never really saw it as something that was desirable to me. Something clicked when I picked up we'll say a very close replica of this knife, and I started with a ProTech Strider S&G Auto, and after holding the knife, which is kind of a replica of this, but in a ProTech collab and an auto, I not only appreciated the functionality of the design, the ergos, but more and more that I was looking at different Striders, I found them to be exceptionally sexy. I love the choil built into the blade. I love the forward sharpening choil. I love the aggressiveness of the blade. I love the depth of the handle, the way that the symmetry sits when the knife is closed. I'm not a huge fan of the flame tie, but it doesn't bother me at all. USA made, on washers, PD1 blade steel or PD01 with tool steel. It's really a great, great knife. I think it's super sexy. I put it in at number 9, and all these are interchangeable in their numbers because they're all, I think, sexy knives. But anyway, we'll call this number 9, and this is the Strider SNG. Moving on, we come to one of my, I think my knife of the year last year, and this knife is sexy by, I think, a lot of people's probably standards. This is the original OG Kunwu Padre. This is the stonewash titanium stonewash blade, LMAX steel, super deep flat grind, aggressive kind of bowie clip point with a deep belly, tall flat grind, aggressive lines, a very, I call it a banana handle because it just kind of rolls around my grip. I love the back spacer and the jimping. I think it matches up nicely. I love the diamond texture, love the clip, love the little Damascus accent around the pivot. I just think it is a sexy knife. It's sexy in hand. I think it looks very good closed, and I think it's just not only a fantastic knife, and like I said, my knife of the year for last year, great value for what it is, but I think it's a sexy bitch. And this is the Kungu Padre, and we're going to call it number 8. Which brings us to number 7. Number 7 is a knife that, you know, we all see. This Spyderco paramilitary too. But they luckily do this in different blade configurations, right? So I've got the Spyderco PM2, I think the S110V is my main Spyderco, or my first Spyderco, and then I bought a Wharncliffe, and then I picked this up on the secondary, and this is the PM2 Tanto Spyderco. Again, to me, the look totally changed. It made me, because of the weight of the blade, I think, the action totally changed. And I think this is an exceptionally sexy knife. You've got a hollow grind on the flat. You've got a compound with a flat at the tip. You've got this really nice swedge. Wonderful jimping. This one is simple S30V, but it does have custom scales, custom hardware, custom clip. Looks pretty normal there. To me, it looks very sexy there. So that is the Spyderco PM2, but it's the Tanto, which again, to me, which this is a subjective video, because what I find sexy, you guys might not find sexy, but I think this is a really sexy version of the Spyderco Pair 2, and I wish they did it more often. I know it's not the most functional cutting blade, but for depending on what you're cutting, it'd be pretty dang functional. Moving on to number 6, I think we're at. Now this used to have black carbon fiber scales, and it still has a set of black carbon fiber scales in the closet. And for this video, it probably would have been sexier with the black carbon fiber scales, black hardware, and the black thumb stud. But for my personal taste, I love this jungle fat carbon fiber. And this is the Null Knives Voodoo. USA designed, Chinese OEM'd, I believe by Best Tech. Knife that is, by my definition of sexy, very sexy. You've got this really clean M390 blade. You've got these nice thumb studs that are kind of triangular, almost like a half of a part of a pyramid. You've got this really neutral pivot system, beautiful belt satin blade. This blade to me is the star of the show. You've got this jimping that leads down to this perfect harpoon, nice swedged spine with a really sharp splinter digger, reverse Tanto there at the end. Wonderful cutter, deep hollow grind, bolster lock, concealed frame lock if you will, and just a winner. This is the Null Knives Voodoo, and in my opinion, even with the jungle carbon fiber scales, it is sexy. I think we said that was number 6. Did we? Let's see, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. That brings us to number 5. So, again, this kind of goes back to what people like, what they don't like, right? And for me, I initially was not a huge fan of this knife till I handled it and got to really use it and spend more time with the blade, because the blade, I think, and the handle make it very, very sexy. Dirty, because I do cut with them. But this is the EMP EDC Relative. It is a top flipper. It has this really awesome clip point compound ground blade that is belt satin finished. Your grind lines go exactly the way they're supposed to. I love the updated handle with the diagonal lines, or the diagonal mill lines. It's got gold hardware, black texture, really sets it off nicely. I think it looks fantastic open. I think it just looks very, very sexy. And I think it's a sexy knife closed, because it's kind of like, what am I going to expect when I get there, right? So this is the EMP Relative, EMP EDC Relative. It is, again, a deep hollow grind in magna cut, clip point, fully jimped spine, diagonally milled, gold hardware. I think it's super sexy. That brings us to number 3. So this is, again, kind of a polarizing one, but it's one that I bought strictly on its looks, on its sexiness. I thought it looked great. It is actually my first Medford knife that I ever purchased because of the look. It just kind of fit my jam. It was about the right size. It was the blade again. It always comes down to the blade for me. And for me, this knife, the Medford Infraction, has this intense spear point blade with this hollow ground grind. This is in S35 VN. It is also in, I think they call it the Stars and Bars pattern, that has a little, patriotic, if you will, airplane-y kind of pattern on it. But this knife in all configurations is sexy. To me, when I see the blackout ones, they still make my mouth drop. I mean, it's just different angles, different looks of this knife. And then you've got the ergonomical factor, which for me is absolutely perfect. I love the way it feels my hand. I love the weight. I love the substantial blade stock. I love the washer action. I love the fact that it's absolutely simple to disassemble. It's a very simple construction, but the design lines, stylistically, I think it is uber sexy. This is the Medford Infraction. My favorite, my second favorite Medford. Slim Midi I still carry more and like it more. I don't think it's as sexy as this, but this is the Infraction. I love it. It's just a straight up spear point, thick ass stock. It's a winner. Brings us to number 2. And this is the mini version of a very sexy knife, an American knife, the Koenig Arius. So where do we even start with this knife? This knife, it's all about the lines, right? So you've got not only the scale, lines, the way that the backspace or lanyard loop integrate together, the pivot collar that's captive, the way it's not fully round. You've got a really unique clip that actually has a hole in it that right now you can just see the blade. When you deploy the knife, you can actually see the number, and the blade is where it is again, guys. Absolutely stunning in my opinion. The Koenig Arius has been a knife that had been on my radar as long as I'd been in the hobby. Had the chance to review the full size. It was a little big for a practical knife for me that I would carry all the time. The mini came in. I had a chance to jump on one. Thank you, Lord Needham. And I did. I would love to see a Koenig Arius M, like a medium size, kind of between this size and the full size. But guys, sexy is, sexy does. It's all subjective, but I think a lot of people find this knife sexy. And to me, it's all about lines. It's all about how that blade marries with the handle, the simple materials, but the very detailed milling patterns that accentuate the lines. Everything about this knife, in my opinion, is perfect. I love it. It is the Koenig Mini Arius, and it is sexy bitch number 2. So number 1, and guys, I could do this all again because it's so subjective, but for me, it's Michael Zieba. Michael Zieba, the artist, Michael Zieba, the jeweler, Michael Zieba, the Brooklyn-based knife maker. And this is the S5. The S5 is a collaboration between Michael Zieba and Jason Knight of Knight Knives. And this happens to be one of his, I guess you'd call it full dress models, the Odin. And Odin is a Norse god of I don't know what. I don't know what the hieroglyphics or the script means. I just know that this knife, I can spend hours just looking at some of the work, and I see new things like the crow that I didn't see before. Till Valhalla is on the clip. You've got these jeweled skulls that make up the backspacer, so it's not a solid back. It is solid, but it's a those are just chiseled out skulls. But when you open the knife, the back side of that backspacer, first of all, you've got the Jason Knight blade that, again, sexy harpoon, neat blood groove, very, very gradual recurve, fantastic sharpening choil. On the back side of our backspacer, we've got some more of those hieroglyphics or that script that I don't know what it means, but it is definitely a nice touch. So you've got your jeweled skulls, the back side of them is flat, been blackened, and then that has been engraved in it. So I think it's super, super sexy. This knife, oddly enough, I think in 2020 or 2021 was one of Blade Show's tactical knives of the show. It won the best tactical knife. And this knife in its raw form, not all gussied up like I've got this one that I picked up from my buddy Dark Gravity, and I was with him when he got it from Michael, is a tactical folder. I mean, this is definitely a defense knife, a hard use knife, a get it done knife, a get away from my Slurpee knife, but it's also, to me, the most ornate, most intense, sexy knife in my collection. You've got just so much going on that's hard to even make out everything that's happening because it is so intricate. There's just little Easter eggs all around this knife. And then just stylistically, from the lines of the knife, for a full-size battle-ready knife, I think it's just super flipping sexy. So guys, that is my subjective top 10 current sexy, as in they look good, they feel good, they kind of make me happy, which is kind of what all my channel's about anyway, how the knives make me feel, right? I'm kind of a Amazon packager opener guy who will occasionally cut wood and stuff like that, but by no means am I a hard use guy. But I do love, love, love knives. I love the designs. I love the different designs. Even designs that might not be my jam, I can absolutely appreciate because they're unique and they're knives and somebody took the time to make it. So to me, that's always pretty killer. But these are my top 10 guys. I always appreciate it when you guys watch my content, watch my channel. There's the Alip P. She's not going to fit down there, so I'm going to set her here so you can look at her top half. But guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting Javon's Knife Flicks, watching my channel. I love each and every one of you. If you'd like to, hit the like button. If not, it's fine. But please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts. Choose debate, not hate. Till next time, peace.